I've recently been obsessed with designing houses that hide themselves underground, like the one you can see here. I love it so much in fact that I've decided to go a little more extreme. I want to design an entire village that hides itself at the flick of a lever. I have a pretty crappy computer, so we'll see how it goes, but I'm very excited. Something about creating structures that lend themselves perfectly to the village without any mods just fascinates me. Let's start with the easiest part. I use a skeleton I used for the house from my tutorial to create a sheep farm without doing anything special. That looks good enough for me, so let's start to challenge ourselves. I want to have a considerable amount of houses, so I want to change the design a bit so I can place them closer together. The current bottleneck is the fixing piston for when the house arrives above ground, so let's change that concept a bit. Okay, what I've done is I've rotated the piston around and I let it push that way, which seems to work, although there are some extra things to take into account. The bottom ones need to have their blocks separated from them when the house arrives, so they can pull them away to fix everything, while the top ones need to have their blocks next to them when the house arrives there. This isn't really a problem, but still something we shouldn't forget to take into account once we bring all the buildings together. Okay, the next building I want to design is a house that has a second floor to have some more variance. This is actually pretty easy to do because when the house is underground, we just need to separate the segments one by one from top to bottom, which we can do with some repeater delays. I use double piston extenders so the house can still pass when it wants to go up. When the house arrives at the top, we can give 3 pulses to the fixing pistons, which will reconnect the house if they happen slow enough for the machine to do what it needs to do. I've just automated it a bit more and boy does it look satisfying. I love it. Everything is going a bit too well, so let's try to design something a little bit more absurd. I mean, what is a village without a tower? When the tower is underground we can just do what we did with the previous house, but do it with more segments. Which might make you think that this is going to be easy peasy. The problem is that we can't do what we did for the larger building once it is above ground, because the pistons get activated in the wrong order. We can, however, first send 3 pulses to the upper observers and then send 3 more to the bottom ones after that to fully fix the tower. The upper ones are a bit of a challenge though, because I don't want something to remain where the tower is when it goes underground. That's why the plan is to build the tower next to a mountain and then hide another flying machine in the mountain that comes out of it to fix the tower when it comes out of the ground. Alright, I've just been playing around a bit and the plan is to use this technique to let the flying machine give 3 pulses before it returns to the mountain. Okay, I think I finally have something that works. I ended up doing it a bit differently, but this thing actually travels from behind the tower and gives enough pulses to the tower to fix itself. Now that I look at my design, I realize how stupid I've actually been. I can just let my mountain machine collide with the tower at the right moment, which would result in the tower being instantly fixed and would make it a lot easier to avoid having to use obsidian. Oh well, let's just do that then instead. I just did my new plan and it is indeed way better. I've already built a bit of a mountain, so I could already test the hiding of the fixing machine. It just comes down to getting the timing right, but the machine itself is actually not that complex. This looks so satisfying. I could watch this all day, but I know you guys probably want to see the finished product, so let's get to work. Alright, I'm done. Welcome to this very ordinary place. Not much to see here except for a lever. Let's see what that does. By the way, this is what it looks like underground. It looks more complicated than it actually is, so if you guys want to make something similar, go watch my house that comes out of the ground video and start building a town of your own.